Despite its name, Super Tennis appears to be the third title in the Great Sports series and was actually released as Great Tennis in Japan. Publishers must have just loved naming confusion during the 8-bit era, as Tectoy decided to release an entirely different game, Tennis Ace, as Super Tennis in Brazil. Well, whatever the name, it's no surprise Sega would want a tennis game for their system, given that tennis was virtually an industry stalwart at this point. Like most 8-bit sports games, there really isn't too much that can be said about Super Tennis. The game appears to have been developed internally at Sega and released on 22nd of December 1985 in Japan as part of the holiday titles. The game made its way to the US in December of 86 and throughout Europe in 87, where it was very much seen as a budget title even upon its initial release. Of course, like most early Sega card releases, it received a standard card re-release in Europe in time for the Master System 2. The game is what you might expect for the time too. You play a single 3-set match of tennis in either singles or doubles, and that's it. A few options can be tweaked, such as your player's speed, swing style and CPU difficulty, but after that, it's down to the basic game of tennis. The game's played from a 3/4 perspective behind your player, which results in the court appearing larger on your side compared to the CPU's. That's actually quite a clever choice, since your player's sprite is larger and movement is a little easier to judge as a result. On the downside, it does mean that the game doesn't support competitive play between two players, with the two-player mode instead being a game of doubles tennis. Super Tennis was clearly developed as a direct rival to tennis on the Famicom. Both games are very similar, but Nintendo's has that little bit more character than Sega's effort. Perhaps that's just the inclusion of Mario as the umpire. Both games ultimately play very similar, and neither does much to distinguish themselves apart. The most fascinating thing about tennis on the Famicom is that it was designed by Shigeru Miyamoto. He seems to have actually worked on a lot of the early Famicom sports titles, which just goes to show how important sports titles were considered at the time. And really, there is not much more that can be said about Super Tennis. It is, after all, a very much rudimentary and safe game of tennis. If anything, the best thing you can say about Super Tennis today is that it's probably the cheapest game to find on the Master System. If you own a Master System, it will probably be harder for you to avoid finding this title than it will be to pick it up. On its own merits, I really can't recommend it today, but since you'll probably end up with about 10 copies, you may as well give it a spin. The real question is, what are you going to do with your other 9 copies?
Thanks for watching SMS Ages. If you like this episode, then why not try some of the other episodes or other content on the channel, and perhaps like, subscribe and share to help spread the word.
Next time on SMS Ages, we really aren't trying to be Transformers. No, not at all.